We've seen LaMarcus. He missed 3 games, right, during that stretch when they had that 4-game losing streak. Your thoughts just real quick on LaMarcus and what you've seen out of him kind of getting sort of back in the flow of things.
LaMarcus has obviously improved on the three-point range. I think sometimes he gets a little happy with the three-pointer and wants to take it too much. You saw in one of the Minnesota games, I believe it was the second Minnesota game, when because DeMar DeRozan wasn't there, that LaMarcus started going back down in the low post, the little turnaround jumper, the little hook shot.
That was
lane,
nice to see.
And that's some bread and butter for him.
Yeah.
And I'd rather see, I don't mind him taking the threes, but like I said, sometimes I think he gets a little happy out there in three-point range, and I'd rather see him down low, especially when he's got a guy that he knows he can beat.
Yeah.
Especially when his defender is not that great a defender and he can take him, then I'd rather see him down low and get that too, because he's got that hook shot down, he's got that little turnaround fadeaway down. I mean, I think he's a whole lot more effective down there on.
Yeah,
on
it's his natural. I mean, the Spurs have kind of pushed him out to be more of a three-point shooter, but it is his natural sort of position, and it's kind of what he's done for most of his career, being down on the block. Speaking of LaMarcus, I mean, right now the Spurs sort of need everybody on deck, because as we learned over the weekend, DeMar DeRozan, as of this recording, again Monday, not with the team on this trip. He had to travel back to LA for family reasons. And then we found out Derek White, he's going to be out for a while, so don't expect to see Derek out there for some time. And so now we have sort of a little bit of attrition here. We saw them run out of gas a little bit against Minnesota. But so, David, who are you looking at to sort of kind of pick up, especially with DeMar possibly being out? Again, we don't know yet what his status is for Oklahoma City.
Lonnie Walker teased us the other night. He gave us a show in the first half.
Yes.
And then he didn't continue that show in the second half. He had 22 against Minnesota in the first half, hitting threes and dry. He's the fastest guy on the court. Mr. Smooth. He can blow by anybody at any time on the court. Yeah. And I would like to see him be more aggressive all the time. I mean, he's worried about, I got to get everybody else. No, you don't. Just take your shot. You're fine. I mean, especially if you're driving to the hole. Who's going to complain about you driving to the basket if you miss it or make it? I mean, but, just standing out there firing up threes, maybe so. Maybe you want to pass it around a little bit. But in the first half, he was just so aggressive.
He looked great. And again, you just kind of wonder if it got into his head whether I need to distribute the ball a bit more. I mean, he said that Minnesota didn't really change anything up defensively, but 22 points first half, 3 in the second half of that Spurs loss, and I thought Lonnie was going to go for like 40. Initially, I was like, this is the guy, this is what they need right now from him to go 40. So I'm with you on that. And you just love his game. When he's attacking the rim, I mean, he's just such a smooth player. He's got some dance moves too. I don't know if you've seen those.
And you throw Keldon Johnson into the mix. I mean, what's wrong with having 3 or 4 guys being aggressive and taking it to the hole? Yeah. What's wrong with that? What that does is open up the three-point shots even more, because now that defense has got to worry about these guys driving it right down their throat and slamming it in their face. Yeah. So, that's part of the whole. Now you got easy shots from 3. You just bring in Patty Mills and let him fire away threes all day and make 8, 9, 10 of them a game. You can do that. But I love the aggression. I love it when they take it to the hole. That's why I like Keldon Johnson so much. He ain't afraid of nobody.
No, he's definitely not. I mean, look, Keldon is kind of another guy that struggled during that loss. He had 17 points on Saturday, though, was a big part of the win. So Keldon, again, is, one of these young guys that's kind of figuring things out. But you're right. I think Lonnie, just in a moment when they don't have DeMar and they're down a few guys, he's sort of needs to be a little bit more proactive and aggressive late in the game.
Let's wrap this up with this key. They're right in the hunt. They're going to get nothing but better. I mean, you're going to have to deal with COVID situations down the road. You're going to have to deal with some injuries. Derek White's already, is an injury that they're having to deal with. But I think they're going to get nothing but better. I think they learn every time they go on the floor. They make a mistake. That's one thing about Pop. He can teach these kids. He shows them the film, what they do. He knows how to, what buttons to push and when to push them, especially with DeJounte. But I think they're going to get
That's a crazy
nothing.
Relationship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the Tony Parker relationship, you look at some of these in the past, it's like, that just fits right in with all that.
Follow. Mm-hmm.
But I think these guys are going to get nothing but better.
Yeah.
And they're in a great plot. I mean, they could be way down at the bottom of the West. And that's what's so great about having all this youth. they don't know they're supposed to sulk for 3 or 4 days after a loss.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another game, we got to get ready
Yeah.
for another game. I don't think they dwell on stuff that's happened. You take your hit from Pop and then you move on and you learn and you go and you get better. But I kind of get that feeling.
Yeah.
That they're not into this. I got to hang my head for 3 days.
Hopefully not, because we got a long ways to
We'll
go.
find out,
Again, we're 5-5 in the mix right now, so
right
it's been a pretty good start for the first 10 games compared to really kind of what was expected. So I think we're going to wrap things up here, David, but we want people to reach out to us. Send us your questions. Email us. I'm at rmarquez@ksat.com.
At David KSAT.
There you go. That's his Twitter. I'm at
Tweet me.
KSATRJ or dsears@ksat.com when it comes to email. So we just kind of want to continue this going.
You got some?
Let us know your thoughts on everything that we're talking about here. And I think we're about to wrap things up. David, any final words?
Go Spurs, go.